So thank you for the invitation to appear briefly before you today, albeit remotely, to talk with you about the National Party's preliminary views on the review and renewal of the Retirement Villages Act as we lead to the 2023 general election. Firstly, to acknowledge Chair Peter Carr and commend him on the work he does and has done on your behalf over a number of years. I also acknowledge your CEO, Nigel Matthews, and all members of your executive. I've been in the role as National Spokesperson for Seniors off and on for the past 6 years. As a senior myself, feel I've a pretty good grip on the challenges facing your members, both from a retirement village's residents' perspective. My mother, my mother's partner, my mother-in-law and my aunt have all lived and died in retirement villages, and from a superannuitant perspective, the most financially challenged sector of our population today. I have also over those years met with many residents groups, almost all the significant operators in the retirement village sector, and many small community-based and owned retirement facilities of all ilks. I'm under no illusion as to how delicate reform in this sector will be and how careful we need to be as we go through this process. We have undertaken to reform the Retirement Villages Act in the next term of Parliament, and will do so irrespective of whether or not the current government's review is completed, although we would much prefer it if it was complete, and if it's not, we will support its completion as soon as possible. I'm also under no illusion as to how important the sector is to our housing stock, also to our aged care sector. Many of our retirement village operators are now taking steps to provide what I call whole-of-life care, as most residents enter these villages in anticipation of having a home for life, only to find, in some cases, that they need to move out when dementia care or sickness sets in, and that does not necessarily mean this at all. In other words, it doesn't mean whole-of-life care at all. This particular matter causes much of the unease within retirement village communities, and those villages unable to provide extended levels of care will suffer in the future. You've asked if I believe that documents provided to attending residents be written in simple and standard format. Well, I certainly do, and would also expect that the legal advice provided be consistent and good, and that the village management be trained to manage and explain the processes of entering a village to a very high standard, and with some consistency. And they also have training in handling the very delicate family affairs that often arise as a result of us older people or more senior people being living in retirement villages. I've found vastly differing standards of village management in my travels. Some are outstanding, some leave a little to be desired. I do not agree with your point that 50,000 retirement village residents feel disadvantaged, as many are completely satisfied with their lot and fully understand the terms under which they enter the village of their choice. This question does, however, raise questions of requiring funds to move into care, which will be the subject of some potential changes to the Act. Thank you, and I look forward to the ongoing discussion.